Nice to meet you, Adam. We are talking because the recent performance of Memorial of a Snail. And my first question to you is why did you so much the time between Mary and Max and this movie?
Oh, good question. Well, it's been 15 years since Mary Max, and it wasn't meant to take that long for me to make another feature film. I did make a short film in between Ernie Biscuit, which was more of an experimental film. But look, lots of reasons. Of course, the big one was COVID. COVID really slowed us down. I'm a very slow writer. That's another basic point. But also too, after Mary Max, which was a very exhausting, challenging film to make, I really didn't want to make another one at that time. I really thought they were just not worth it, too difficult, even though the film did well. My biggest passion's drawing, and I would happily give up filmmaking tomorrow if I could spend the rest of my life just drawing. But I know that there's audiences out there that like my work, and my mother used to say too that good things take time, so don't rush anything. If really, especially with the writing, really make sure you write and rewrite and get the story as well structured and as strong and as potent as possible before you even start making it as an animated film. So, yeah, 15 years, certainly too long, but hopefully the next film will only take five.
Okay. What is it like to shoot with the stop motion technique? It's more difficult, I understand.
Well, I think all stop motion, sorry, I should say all animation
Yeah.
is slow, sadly. And stop motion can be slower, but my sort of methodology is quite quick actually compared to other animated techniques. And so I can shoot a film in about 30 to 40 weeks. Whereas films like Inside Out 2, that was going for years and years and years. So yeah, sadly it's a sad problem with all animation is that we have to move the characters about 25 times per second, and just to create 1 second of movement on the big screen. So that mathematical equation, sadly, has always been, will always be. We certainly have all these wonderful digital tools now to help us, but the sad reality is it's a slow, tedious art form, and just the way it is.
Yes. No. Do you have interest in those marginalized for the society? No, it's your topic in the two movies.
The marginalized people.
Yes, marginalized.
Yeah, I think all my characters in all my films are sort of misfits in some way. They're people who don't fit into society necessarily, or who are perceived as being strange or unusual. But really, they're just everyday people. I think all of us are strange and unusual in ways. And what I'm trying to say with every film is to we've got to put ourselves in other people's shoes, and empathy. I use empathy a lot, getting the audience to put themselves in my character's shoes. What's it like to be an 8-year-old girl born with a cleft palate? What's it like to be a 44-year-old man with Asperger's syndrome who's never had a stable job? These sorts of life experiences I want everyone to feel and share. And I work very hard with my scripts to make sure that they are very real characters, very believable, authentic people that audiences can relate to and identify with.
Mhm. This is my question, but it will be problematic now to shoot the film in the current times because of the relationship between an older man and a young girl in times in actual times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, even back in 2009 when we made Mary Max, it was a very difficult film to finance because it was a hard story to pitch, very hard story to sell because I was pitching it as a love story between an 8-year-old girl and a 40-year-old man. And it is. But it's not physical love, it's friendship love. And they live on other sides of the world and they write letters to each other, and each nourishes the other and teaches each other life lessons. And, as the film turned out, it was very successful, very, critically acclaimed. But yes, certainly a difficult film to finance.
Yes, it was more difficult now. But how are you doing the award season? The movies like around the world, and it's just a great winning for your job.
Yeah, look, the film's doing very well. Obviously, the Academy Award nomination, Golden Globes. What else? We won the London Film Festival, where we actually competed against live action films and won the award there, and Annecy. And so, yeah, look, I think because the film was an 8-year project, and a lot of my artists and colleagues who worked on it were all very relieved. We're just relieved that the film was worthwhile making, and I think all directors feel that sense of relief when the film is well received by the world, because A, it means it wasn't a big waste of money, and B, usually it means you get to make another one, which for me is the most important thing, is that each film helps finance the next one.
Did they call from USA for working with them in any time?
Sorry, did they?
Working for in USA, did they call you sometime?
Oh,
With
well, yeah.
with the great studios like Pixar, like DreamWorks.
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've always had, for 28 years, I've had a relationship with Hollywood, and the big studios all around the world who've, shown an interest in working with me, but they tend to want me to direct one of their films, whereas I'm strictly an auteur. I only direct my own screenplays, and I'm not interested in directing other people's films, even though, I'd be offered a lot of money and have been offered a lot of money. I think I'm an artist first, unfortunately, and I've missed out on lots of money, but that doesn't bother me. You don't get the creative freedom and free creative control that you get as an auteur. And here in Australia, I'm well supported by the government film agency, so I get to make the films I want to make the way I want to make them, and with endings exactly how I want them.
That's nice. That's a big money, but but yes. Are you considering making a live action movie in some time, anytime?
Yeah, I have over the years, thought, gee, wouldn't it be quicker to make make a film that's live action? Obviously, animation is slow. But no, I love animation because you get to play God. You can create whatever world you want. Our characters can look exactly how we want them to look. We don't have to worry about the weather. We don't have to worry about actors having tantrums and
Yeah.
so. I think all animators would agree. You get to be a control freak. You get to be a megalomaniac, and that's very alluring. But no, I don't think I'd be a very good live action director. I think, I like the thing I like about animation too. It gives you lots of time to think and lots of time to solve problems. Whereas on a live action shoot, you've got to get it all done very quickly in 8 weeks or whatever the shoot period is. So yeah, that's not for me.
Yes, Megalopolis, like with snails, maybe.
Yeah.
A great movie. To finalize the interview, how do you sell this movie, Memories of Snail, for children and adults? And it's just because the movie more critics considering this animation for adults, but I think my kids could see this movie also too.
Yeah, look, I certainly it's different to a Pixar or Disney film in that it's not really a family film. It's really for mature audiences. But having said that, teenagers absolutely, and actually teenagers are our biggest demographic. They're the ones who've been coming to the cinemas to watch the film. So teenagers, young adults. I don't think little kids, I think a lot of, little kids might be interested in the animation, but the story would go over their head. There's some nudity in the film, there's some swearing. So I really leave it up to parents to decide. And I always warn parents that don't think because it's plasticine you're about to see something like Wallace and Gromit, because it's not. It's there's some challenging subject matter. There's some funny moments, but there's also a lot of dark moments as well, which may not be suitable necessarily for your child.
Mhm. Yes, yeah, yes. So, Mr. Adam Elliot, thank you for your time and congratulations for your movies. Nice to meet you.
My
And
pleasure.
thank you
Thank you,
again.
Hector. Lovely. Thank you.